Alright guys, continuing with our week-long item-by-item position on how to fix the industry. Well, it'd be incomplete without discussing HVCC and all the vomit policies that have ensued since its sunset.
Yeah.
A rose by any other name, would it smell as sweet? Well, though it's not called HVCC, it still smells. And smells the same. And it's not the fragrance of a rose, but the stench of, as I said, vomit.
Don't worry, we've got an angle to this well-stomped dilemma, so let's get started, shall we? First of all, everything we said would happen with HVCC has happened with HVCC. Appraisal quality has slipped as recently remarked by NAIHP assertion that appraisal fraud has risen by over 50%. Now, I think some of that fraud may be just bad appraisals and as we said, many of our seasoned professional full-time appraisers have either left or have been forced out of their profession,
leaving us with fewer, less qualified appraisers doing more appraisals. So, of course, quality is going to suffer, as we said it would.
Geographical competence has been compromised, meaning these less qualified appraisers are driving farther to do more appraisals in neighborhoods that they don't know. So of course, the quality's gonna suffer, as we said it would.
As also stated by NAIHP, closing costs on a transaction, well, they've increased as the cost of the middleman, an appraisal management company, has been passed on to the buyers and the sellers, as we said it would.
And appraisers are making less per deal because they now have fewer clients, the AMCs, and are subject to their take it or leave it approach to their compensation. So of course quality's gonna suffer, as we said it would. Yet, here we are.
So why should you and every other person in this country care about the aftermath of HVCC?
Because it's a policy that has actively and catastrophically participated in the ever-growing fire that we know as real estate.
Alright, so HVCC has led to bad appraisals and compromised values. Sorry, Charlie, but that's pretty much how Frank and I see it, and for good reason. And rather than respond to hollow arguments from opportunistic profiteers of HVCC, I'll tell you what, I'll outline those reasons on our Facebook fan page, which is Frank Garay and Brian Stevens.
So here's the catch. Appraisers are the gatekeepers of your equity, your neighbor's equity, your parents' equity, your cousins, friends, enemies, and even your mistress, provided she owns a home.
Okay guys, this affects you. So if there's a bad appraisal in your neighborhood where the value is low, or if the value is argued by the lender, or the comps are bad, do you have the ability to remedy that situation? Well, the answer is not as good as you used to have.
So when a bad appraisal goes through and sets a value, it effectively sets the highest and best comparable for the surrounding area. And as we just stated, if the value is low, your home's value, it goes down too.
You know, if you think about it, these appraisers carry remarkable and totally overlooked responsibility. I mean, we'd all agree that a person's home is probably the biggest investment that they'll ever make. You ever hear that one before? Yet, we allow a system of over and bad regulation to force out of work and change the tactics that can, well, benefit your home's value if and when the market turns for the positive and protect your value in our current state of disrepair.
Okay. So what's the deal here?
Hit 'em with it.
Well, NAIHP contends that the GSEs and FHFA have withheld thousands of public comments they received regarding the consequences that we just outlined here today regarding HVCC.
That HVCC was based on a plea bargain between Fannie, Freddie, and FHFA, so New York Attorney General Andy Cuomo would drop his fraud investigation.
And not based on the comments that are now being withheld that were from you. NAIHP wants to get those comments released to prove the false assertion that HVCC was founded upon as a means of hopefully reversing the remnants of this horrible national policy.
If you want comments on HVCC, a couple of years ago, we got about 120,000 of those bad boys. They might just want to look at, newsflash, none of them are pro-HVCC.
Your call to action on this is simple, guys.
Yeah.
Click on the NAIHP banner down below or email FHFA Acting Director Edward DeMarco at director@fhfa.gov and let him know that you want to see these comments.
Yeah, and while you're at it, tell him, maybe to look at ours too, and we've got more. So, who knows? Maybe he'll come to his senses and change a policy and help the housing industry recover.
Well, hey, special thanks to Mark Savitt and NAIHP. Thanks, guys, and keep your heads up to all our appraisers, and most of all, thanks for your ear and your actions.
As always, guys, with these shows we're doing this week, forward them to everybody in the industry because we need to get a grassroots movement going. With that said,
think big,
work small.